Hey friends, welcome to the Raising Boys and Girls podcast. I'm Sissy Goff.
And I'm David Thomas.
And I'm Melissa Trevathan.
And we're so glad you've joined us for this conversation. Let's dive in. This is a really special episode, and it came about in an unusual way. Last week, we got a call, a very unexpected call, and made a 24-hour trip to New York City that was an unbelievable experience, and it allowed us to have a really rich, meaningful conversation with a delightful human being. So, Sissy, tell what happened and how this came about.
We got a call through TSF from a publicist who works with Meta, inviting us to a very special top secret announcement. And we lost our minds. I mean, we were both talking about if we were in New York and someone said, hey, would you like to come see the Meta offices? We would have said yes, let alone go to a top secret announcement. We couldn't say anything about it. And we were scrambling. Of course, as therapists, we each had to move 10 people to different days. Thank you if you're listening for moving. And we just wanted to make it work. We were so excited. And the tag on the invitation was, it's a special announcement for kids and families that we believe is going to make a huge difference. And so we were bought in right there because obviously we spend so much time talking to kids about social media and talking to parents about their concerns about social media. So we were so excited. David, you take it from there.
To get to sit down in conversation with the remarkable human being who quarterbacked this whole process and hear about how it came to be and all the different ways that there is opportunity to safeguard the kids and adolescents we love. So enjoy our conversation with the delightful, intentional Naomi Gleit. We are so honored to share time with you. Thank you for inviting us to be a part of this amazing event. Thank you for the life-giving work you all are doing. I was thinking about even the timing of our conversation and that this week the U.S. Surgeon General would declare parent stress a public health concern and what you all are doing to diminish parent stress. So we're just honored to get to share conversation and would love to start just by having you talk a little bit about your role at Meta, the work you do, and then we made a great discovery through our intersection with you that we all love dogs. So we may need you to tell us a little bit about your dog as well.
Yes, sure. So first of all, thank you for coming all the way from Nashville. I'm Naomi Gleit. I'm the head of product at Meta. I've been at Meta for 19 years.
Wow.
I live in New York now, and I have a dog named Brooklyn, who is a Gleit, which is a mini husky.
That's the breed is a
Yes.
Gleit. I'm not familiar with that breed or
Yes.
that name.
Well, I will show you photos
We
later.
definitely need photos.
Can't wait.
Yes. Well, as therapists who are concerned about kids and families, we just are so grateful that y'all are doing this. I mean, I think everything you talked about in the announcement, we were nodding. Sorry not to
Yes.
jump up and down. So you started off the presentation with the 3 concerns that y'all have heard from parents the most. Will you talk a little bit about those that inspired all of this?
Definitely. We've been talking to a lot of parents. We want to understand how we can support parents because at the end of the day, parents know their kids the best. Parents tell us that they're concerned about 3 big things. One is who can contact their teen. They don't want strangers or people that, they're not familiar with contacting their teen. 2 is what kind of content they can see. And 3 is how much time they're spending online. And so we really tried to design teen accounts to address all 3 of those things around contact, content, and time.
Will you, in sharing that, just outline some of the primary changes that are a part of the teen accounts? And in particular, we're excited to hear more about sleep mode and topics.
Awesome. So the biggest change is really that teens will be required to be in private accounts. And if you're under 16, you will not be able to change that default or any of the settings without getting your parents' permission. And so I think one of the biggest changes here is really encouraging teens and giving them an incentive, a reason to ask their parents to supervise their experience on Instagram, which I think will hopefully start a really great dialogue between
Yes.
teen and parents around social media use.
Mm.
Another big change is that only people that the teen follows or is connected to can message them. And that should help with some of those concerns around unwanted contact that we talked about earlier. Other changes that you asked about, time management tools. So by default, all teens will get a reminder to leave the app after 60 minutes. And
So great.
at night, we've heard about the importance of sleep. Teens should be sleeping. We want to reduce the distractions. All notifications on Instagram will be muted. It's what we call sleep mode. The account is basically, you're not available. You'll send an auto reply if someone tries to message you.
I'm so grateful. We were talking a minute ago. I met with our female staff. So counseling, we have 2,000 families at Daystar currently where we work. And so they represent all the girls. And I said, what are the changes you wish would happen? And they said, I wish Instagram could close overnight, every night. So y'all are doing it. I'm so grateful. So for the parent listening whose teenagers are already on Instagram now, it's a two-part question. The ones who are there now, how is this going to impact them? And second part is if a parent decides to hold off till 16, because there's kind of graduated changes. Will you talk about both of those things?
Definitely. So for the teens that are already on Instagram, starting today, we are going to be educating them that their account will be transitioned into a teen account. And so over the course of the next 60 days, we will be transitioning teens that are already using the app into teen accounts. For teens that are 13 to 15, if they want to stay in a public account, again, they'll have to set up parental supervision. Otherwise, their account will be transitioned to private.
So great.
And then on your second question.
Second question was, I know you have graduated. It changes at 16.
Yes.
So if a parent decides we're not doing social media until 16, how does it impact them?
Great question. So parents, like I said, know their teen the best. If they don't think that they should be on the phone, on social media until a certain age, like 16, that's totally fine. If and when they think it's appropriate, teen accounts will be available to them. Older teens, we do think there's a difference, and experts have told us this. A 13-year-old is not a 17-year-old.
Right.
A 13-year-old might be on social media for the first time. A 17-year-old is going to college. I was talking with someone earlier who had a 17-year-old, and they're going to Stanford. That being said, for parents that still want parental supervision over their 16 or 17-year-old, that option will be available to them. One of the things that I wanted to emphasize is that parents have a lot more control via our supervision tools. So, for example, they will be able to block access to Instagram during certain hours of the day. We mentioned night. Some parents prefer blocking Instagram access during school. And also, they'll be able to set a daily limit for their teen. So it could be as low as 15 minutes or say as high as 2 hours.
And I loved when you talked about if they reach that limit, what happens?
If they reach the limit, then if the parent has chosen to, they will be blocked access from the app.
Yes.
Otherwise,
So good.
if it's a reminder, then teens will just, be encouraged to leave the app or really think about, hey, is the time that I'm spending on Instagram time well spent? And do I want to continue? It's really up to the parent to decide if it's a block or just a reminder.
Parents are jumping up and down at this moment in
they're
our
listening.
conversation.
Yes.
Can we talk about two things we hear in our offices
Yes,
often?
please.
So one would be teenagers lying about their age.
Yes.
Second would be teenagers creating multiple accounts.
I
Will
had
you
somebody talk about that yesterday.
Yeah, the wonderful ways that you all are addressing those concerns.
Teens are very smart.
Yes, they are.
And they will find workarounds.
Yes.
And so our goal is to make sure that everyone who's a teen is put in teen accounts. We want them to have the protected settings. And there are many different things that we're doing to accomplish this. The first is stopping teens from lying about their age to get around teen accounts. So if they try to change their birthday, if they try to create a new account, we will ask them to verify their age. And there are a few ways that they can verify their age, either giving us an ID or they can use a video selfie tool that tries to estimate age. That's because not every teen has an ID.
Right.
Another thing that we're doing is trying to predict the age of teens. It's hard to know if someone's lied, but we are trying to develop an AI model to understand if someone might actually be a teen, even if they said that they're an adult. And if they are, we will put them in teen accounts. Another thing that we're doing is parents. Parents are part of the solution here. We are going to educate parents and ask for their help in confirming the age of teens online. We have talked about in the past how it would be helpful if Apple and Google at the device level could provide this information to developers as well. That would be another way to understand the age of someone using our apps.
Yes, that's such a great idea. So the parent portal, I don't know what you call it, but when parents are logging on, when they are in supervision mode, will you talk about what they see and how they can interact with that?
So it's family center. Parents will be able to see how much time their teen is spending on Instagram. They'll be able to choose a lot of these different settings around what time their teen can use Instagram, how much time their teen can use Instagram for. They'll also see who their teen is messaging. And that's a new feature with teen accounts.
Great.
And again, that's intended to start these conversations around, hey, who's this person that you're talking to? I don't know this person. We're trying to find the right balance because we're showing you who your teen is talking to, but not necessarily showing you what they're talking about. Because, teens also want to keep their messaging private from their parents, but hopefully it starts that conversation. Parents will also be able to see what kind of topics their teen has chosen to see more content about. That's really exciting. It's a new feature called interests that only teens will have. We talk to parents, but we also talk to teens, and they tell us they come to Instagram to see content that they're excited about and interested in. And we want to give them tools to do more of that.
So for the parent listening who has a 15 or 16-year-old who's had great access, as they are walking this back, any thoughts in terms of just conversations to have as they implement these new things?
The first thing I would say to parents, and you mentioned earlier that earlier this week there was discussion about how parents are experiencing pressure and crisis. Teen accounts is not intended to create more work for you. And that's why all of these settings are automatically applied. However, we do want to give parents more tools for those that want to get more involved. And so what I would say to them is have these conversations with your teens, and we're going to give you the reasons to. Starting today, both teens and parents will start seeing notifications about teen accounts. Our goal here is to educate. We want parents and teens to understand how this works and hopefully to set up parental supervision. That's going to require either the teen or the parent initiating a request and the other side confirming it. And I think the conversations that they can have really are around messaging, around content that they're seeing, around how much time they're spending. Someone today asked me, how can, as a parent, I model usage of Instagram for my teen? The same settings that we're offering teens, we also offer parents. Parents can set daily limits. Parents can set sleep mode on. And that could be a conversation that they could have together about, hey, this is how I'm using this setting. How are you using this setting?
Yes. One of the things that we have talked about a little bit today is it's so easy, I think especially in the technology world, but when there is a company that you don't know anyone that works there, it's easy to vilify and not feel like you're on our team. And as soon as you finished talking, we both looked at each other literally and said at the same time, I liked her so much. And I think the humanity of who you are and you representing Meta came through so significantly, and the compassion and the thoughtfulness, and that you really are on the team of parents, which we just loved and are so grateful for. And at the end, I loved specifically when you said, this is going to take a little time. Give us grace through the process. And so we want parents to do the same. And so will you just say what you said again? Because we want to be on your team too as we're working through all this.
We are definitely on team parents. We have spent a lot of time talking to parents, and our entire approach here today is to listen to them because we really do think that they know their kids the best. At the same time, we don't want to create new work for them. We want to design by safety by design. We want these settings to be automatically applied. What I would ask is over the next 2 months, starting today, we are fundamentally changing the experience for teens.
Yes,
Tens of
which is
millions of
huge.
teens, 100 million teens will be moved from existing accounts into teen accounts. And so we want to make sure that we get this right. That might take a little time. And like I mentioned earlier, we really want both parents and teens to understand and feel good about what's happening.
Mm,
It's so evident how you've been listening. It really is.
it is.
Came through in all of your communication. So thank you for that. And we end every episode with something kind of fun and food related. So we move from the
That
substantive to the
Yes.
silly. And we have
Okay.
a 2-part food related question. So
You ready?
part 1 is queso or guac, and part 2 is what's your favorite taco?
Okay, I am from Brooklyn, New York. That's why my dog is named Brooklyn. I have not had good queso. So
Aw.
I'm a guac person, but I'm open to having my mind changed if you have a good restaurant that you can direct me to.
If you come to Nashville, we'll take care
Yes,
of
we
it.
will. And what's your favorite taco?
My favorite taco, I love a fish taco.
Yes.
Yes.
Naomi, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for sitting down with us and just all y'all are doing for families.
Thank you.
It's a joy to be with you.
Thank you both.
David, what a team we have that we get to call friends who help make this podcast possible.
Amanda Young, our operations manager,
Chris Starrett, our engineer and producer.
our management team at KCH.
And we are thrilled to be a part of the That Sounds Fun network.
Our music was created by the insanely talented Dave Haywood of Lady A.
And if this podcast felt helpful to you, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, all the things.
We are grateful for you and cheering you on always.